Welcome to Bloodbath and Beyond. Today we review the Night Watchmen. Let's go kill some dead people.
Directed by Mitchell Altieri, starring Ken Arnold, Dan DeLuca, Kevin Jiggetts, Kara Luiz, Max Gray Wilbur, James Remar, and a small appearance from Tiffany Shepis. This movie is about a group of night watchmen, a journalist, and a new rookie hire that need to fight vampires in an office at the command of Blimpo, a famous clown that got infected and has now created a legion of killer vampires. This is actually a Patreon recommendation from Scott Beller, who's recommended this for quite some time because he knows one of the stars in the film, Dan DeLuca, who's also, I think, like a co-writer or something. And Luca is a very cool character, by the way. So if you're gonna know anyone from this movie, that's probably a good one to know. Unless it was Tiffany Shepis, who's also in this movie. And I'm glad to check this one off my list of Tiffany Shepis movies to check out. Thanks, Scott. Now, what do we like?
I really liked our vampires and the vampire lore that was attached to it. It was cool seeing Blimpo, this clown, and the rest of his horde just running around, biting people, attacking people. They looked awesome.
Vampires my ass. Vampires are sparkly and shiny and handsome as shit. Not these motherfuckers.
Maybe they're zompires.
No, vampires, that's stupid.
They almost act exactly like zombies, like ravenous zombies just running around, but they're vampires, so they have the attributes of vampires. That's just fucking nuts to me, because that's too crazy. Especially for like this group of idiots that have no idea what's happening, and they need to try and figure it out. But that group does consist of a good mix of characters, because we do have some smart cookies in the batch.
They literally like cut out baseboards wrapped around their neck to protect themselves. That was easily the smartest decision anyone has ever made in any vampire movie.
And talking about our characters, they had some pretty good personalities because you've got Jiggetts, everybody around him thinks that he should act like a stereotypical black guy. And so to see him trying to act more gangster is pretty funny, and it adds for a lot of the better pieces of comedy in this movie.
Most white people are weird. Camping! Fucking camping!
On top of that, you have someone like Luca, who is the silent type. He is pretty badass.
Did he really kill 3 people over a game of poker?
I don't know. Could have been more.
One of my favorite like long-running jokes comes in Rajiv's character.
You must be the new guy, Rajiv. Is that Greek?
This is a guy named Justin, who is the rookie hire, and he just happens to wear the last Night Watchman's like uniform, whose name was Rajiv. And throughout the movie, they consistently call him Rajiv. I mean, they probably overstayed their welcome on that, but I liked it every time.
Rajiv, that's not my name.
Then you have the leader of them all, Ken. His character was like, gotta follow the rules. I know the handbook. I'm the soldier. But when it came to like the key moments in this film, like shooting a gun, he was absolutely useless. But at the same time, he was also like an enjoyable character because he was like the glue that kept it all together.
And then we have Karen, who's the unlikely heroine who can do everything that Ken can't do. She's just smarter, she can shoot better, and she's just a good character. She also adds a little sex appeal to the whole movie, especially when Ken's like watching her run in the rain.
You were checking out her ass, weren't you?
Of course not.
And there's no shortage of sex appeal because we also have Tiffany Shepis, as I've mentioned already many times somehow, even though she only has 30 seconds in the whole movie.
Take mine dark and sweet like I like my men, right, Caleb?
But there's also some more sexy time when the Hebrew Kush goes into the vents and makes everybody horny. All the vampires horny, at least. And they start ripping each other's shirts off. So we do have some brief glimpses of nudity, which was shocking to me because like I get high all the time and I'm not just like stripping down and getting super horny. Although I had an ex-girlfriend who every time she smoked, she's like, it's go time. And she was a pothead too, so you know.
Whenever you have this like office space setting, there's so much potential for gags and tense moments. Cause like we have them like creeping around the cubicles, not knowing when someone's gonna jump out at them. And at the same time, they're using these elements for comedic effects with like locking people into small places. Or even when we're in the warehouse, you have like vampires like hanging from the rafters. Like there's a lot of good that comes from this setting that helps further the story and set the mood.
I also need to give a shout out to like the practical effects and the makeup, because the makeup on the vampires look awesome. Everybody has kind of like a distinct look, and there's lots lots of just goo all over the place. Whether it's blood or like the black tar that they spit out when they die. I'm still not sure if I would have wanted to be that one guy grabbing Tiffany Shepard's boobs. But then right after, it's like, okay, you get this, but then you also get a face full of tar. I guess I'd have to be in that situation. But I did like that everybody got fucking splattered, especially right off the bat. Things kind of move really quickly. Within 20 minutes, there are vampires all over the place, and they get absolutely doused in blood. Now, what didn't we like? I think the biggest downfall for me was the comedy. Because this is a horror comedy, and both the characters and the setting set up for really funny moments, I didn't find myself laughing. I think that there are a lot of jokes here that were supposed to hit harder than they actually did.
Don't you worry none, ladies. I got your back doors, your backsides, your booty.
And I know that comedy is super subjective. Like, there's some people that are gonna laugh at every single joke made here.
Necrophilia, when one makes passionate love to another. Only the other is dead.
At no moment was I not entertained with what I was seeing on screen. It's just I wasn't laughing out loud. And whether it was that the delivery wasn't as over the top as the build-up, or just they didn't hit their mark.
Yeah, it's a really weird thing to talk about because I know that everybody is going to handle this differently. It's fun, and I get it, and it's enjoyable, and I'm not like, oh, that sucked. Except for the shit humor. The shit humor, they overused it a little bit.
Oh, man, that's nasty. So that is a thing.
I was kind of disappointed with our main leads and the lack of showdowns that we had with the characters they interacted with before they returned into vampires. Because there's obviously some development where we're going to have these mini feuds as we build up to the final vampire boss, but we never got that. In particular with Barney and Jiggetts.
Someone's been stealing food off my desk. Any ideas?
I got nothing.
They don't have a strong enough battle where like the sandwich is the cause of Barney's death, or Barney isn't specifically going after Jiggetts. Those are the kind of things you would expect in mini boss fights.
And the same is true with Karen and Penny, her girlfriend. Penny becomes a vampire, and it just doesn't have the impact that you would expect from something so important. Like, Karen doesn't grieve the loss of her girlfriend, which is weird. Like, if I die, grieve me, please. And also James Remar's character, who's like kind of the boss, who's fucking weird in his own right. He was very prominent in the beginning, and while there is a little bit of a showdown with him, it's nothing too crazy. Like, these incompetent people are still able to kind of just run through everybody with ease, which is very odd to me. Especially building to somebody like Blimpo. I didn't think they proved that they were good enough to be able to take on this 7-foot beast, but there's no way because they haven't really faced anyone that even put up a fight, which is weird.
As much as I loved all our characters and I thought that they meshed well together, there were moments in the film where I actually thought our characters were dickheads. Early on, Karen like runs away and like leaves the Night Watchmen high and dry because she doesn't care about them. Even Rajiv locks Ken out after he saves him. These are like defining traits that make you want to see a character die, and that's something that we shouldn't be feeling when we've like loved what they've done this far. I shouldn't be like, oh, Karen just like screwed over the Watchmen, she's gonna get it now, when she's supposed to be like our strong female lead. Or Rajiv is our like up and comer like kid who like they're supposed to protect. So there's a few times where I was questioning their character development.
Now it's time for our final thoughts and ratings. This was a fine enough movie, and if you've seen stuff like Bloodsucking Bastards and you enjoyed that, you're probably gonna enjoy this because the office setting just kind of sets up for fun moments. Our characters are enjoyable, our vampire zombie hybrid kind of dealios, they look awesome, and there's lots of blood. It's a very fast-paced movie, and there are some funny moments. However, I did find the comedy was kind of lackluster. Everything seems like it should be funny. You're gonna be like, okay, that was fine, but you're not gonna be laughing. I mean, you might. I don't know. I wasn't. Yeah, I don't know how you feel, guys. I'm just sharing how I feel. I don't know. It's kind of middle of the road for me. It's not necessarily a bad movie, and I would watch a sequel if they made one. So I'm gonna give this 2.5 Dexter's dad being an office creep out of 5.
This film's an interesting one because by no means was it short in its action, horror, or comedy. It's just odd because they're not laugh out loud moments. I thought that our characters interacted well with each other and they did a good job when fighting the vampires. We had a really cool setting and we had a very well-paced story. This was a runtime of 1 hour and 20 minutes and it flew by. I loved everything that I was watching. There's just something about it that doesn't stand out. There's nothing in particular that's memorable. Though I really would like to see a sequel, I would recommend checking this film out. I enjoyed it and I think a lot of people are gonna laugh at the jokes even though it didn't hit the mark for us. So with that being said, I give this film 3.5 benefits of the Night Watchmen out of 5.
So we nap, we play cards, we suck each other's dicks on Tuesday. Did you hear what I just said?
Yeah. We nap, we play cards, and we suck each other's dicks on Tuesday.
As always, thank you for watching. Like this video and comment below with your thoughts on the film if you've seen it. If you haven't and you do want to check it out, links are in the description. And if you want the opportunity to recommend a movie for us to review, check out the Patreon link, also in the description. And if this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with everything Bloodbath and beyond.